So most of us are working from home if we're working at all. And so either way, we're at home and we're with our families. One of the questions I'm being asked a lot is how do we have a conversation about what's going on with COVID-19 with our families, either with elderly parents or with children as well, particularly. And how do we deal with the anxiety that they're having, or, they're getting really narky, or they're getting really stressed. This is what our conversation is about an awful lot of the time at the moment. One of the things that we need to understand is that that's a mental health conversation. Anxiety and stress and worry, all of those things are part of our mental health, and it's how we have those conversations and what language we use. It isn't about being a psychologist or a psychotherapist or a specialist in any way. It's about having a human connection. And sometimes asking the person just, what's that like for you? Or tell me about that. Or with the child, where do you feel it in your body? I can see that you're not yourself right now. What does that feel like for you? Or tell me about that. One of the things that I think is really helpful is this book that I got in the letterbox the other day, and it's from One Post. And one of the things they have is they have all of these designs inside. And one of the things that I think is wonderful is they have little stories. And one of those stories is about this guy who is really worried about germs, and he's worried about getting sick. And obviously they can, the kids can read the story and they can color it in, but this is a really simple way to get a conversation and say, well, what do you think about that? And so that's the kind of way, even if you haven't received this book yet, it's about looking at how can you get to a child's level and understand from their perspective. And this is the thing, when somebody feels heard, it changes everything. It is a total game changer. And it's not just for children. This is for family members, it's for children, it's for colleagues. This idea of your feelings are valid. I see you, and I'm not trying to take away from the fact that your experience is difficult. Because quite often we jump in with the, I'm sure it'll be over soon, or, you'll be grand, all of that kind of thing. That's not helpful. What we're looking to be saying is things like, I'm sorry that you're experiencing that. Tell me a little bit more about that. What would help you right now? So again, simple things, whether it's telling a story, whether it's coloring in, whether it's, asking questions, maybe playing a couple of games, or like that, maybe if you want to bring some of those things into work from a workplace perspective, how can you have those kind of discussions? If somebody is really anxious about social distancing, and maybe they're being in an environment where the social distance issue for them is causing them a lot of stress and anxiety and worry. It's about how do we have compassion, how do we acknowledge that for the other person and say, I realize that that's really stressful for you, that we're in the same office and I have to walk past you on a regular basis, and maybe that's making you jump out of your skin. So is there a way that we can work around this? What would work for you? Tell me what would help right now. And finding solutions together is really the way forward with this. And that doesn't matter whether it's a child, a grandparent, a colleague, a partner. It is about being human and realizing that we don't have the answers for everything. And this idea of assumption. So when I assume that you're feeling a certain way or you're thinking a certain thing, I then jump to the answer that I think is going to help with that. But sometimes maybe I'm wrong and I've assumed the wrong thing. Or maybe in my assumption, it's taking your voice away. So checking in and asking that question is so important. So let's talk about mental health. Let's have these conversations and make it a normality. It's not that you have to be using the words mental health if that doesn't work for you, but checking in and asking somebody how they really are and giving them that space can make so much difference.